Before all of this begins, I want to say that I'm sorry if you're expecting my allegedly huge guide on Seamoon. Unfortunately, I was hit with a huge wave of homework and wasn't really motivated enough to do my guide. I just didn't want to. I feel like I don't want to push myself or my video's quality may drop. As a sort of compensation, I should be uploading quite a bit as I want to make a guide for every spec that I can get my hands on. Without further ado, let's talk about Goku, the guy with 20 goddamn forms. I'm sure you probably forgot the spec existed. Since my return to AUT, I haven't seen a single Goku in 1v1s, and that's probably a sign that Goku's pretty irrelevant. However, after getting Goku today, I realized that with the right playstyle, he's still fairly viable. So today, we're gonna get into how I use Goku, what people do wrong when they play him, and whether he's even good in the first place. But first, let's talk about his kit. His moveset is filled with moves that are really frustrating, but have essentially no synergy. I'm going to talk about every move just because they're fairly unique. His E is Kamehameha, a blast that deals 60 damage. It has a fairly short startup, but it's really easy to react to. Goku's R is Feint, a 2-hit attack that knocks back on the second hit, dealing 28 damage in total. Goku's T is Genkidama, aka Ghost Explosive, aka Spirit Bomb, which is a huge explosion that takes around 5 seconds to throw out and deals 85 damage. You can only use this move in base form. Goku's Y is Dragon Fist, which sends Goku back before sending him forward incredibly fast, doing 30 damage. This move is only available in his 3rd or 4th transformation. Goku's F is Barrage, a ton of hits that deal 33 damage in total. Goku's G is Meteor Trick, a multi-hit mini cutscene. Goku's H, Instant Transmission, is what's in the name. It's a teleport. Goku's Z is Blink, a large distance teleport that deals 50 damage in total to anyone who we teleported past. To talk about how to play him, we need to talk about what his transformations do for him. If you don't want to listen to a bunch of boring math, skip to this timestamp, which should be on screen right now. Alright? Are you ready? Now let's go. His 1st, 2nd, and 3rd transformation increase the base Goku's damage by 2% for each form, meaning that, for example, SSJ3, his 3rd form, increases base Goku's damage output by 6%. However, his 4th form increases the damage by 3%, meaning that it now increases output by 9%. His 5th form increases by around 3.9%, totaling out a weird percentage of 12.928571428%. In addition, from this form onward, Goku will gain 1 HP every 4 seconds. It's really minimal, but it's just something to mention. His 6th form, SSB, or Super Saiyan Blue, now increases base Goku's damage up by 20%, but makes him take 10 damage every second. Your transformations also increase the amount of max HP Goku has. Your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th forms increase the health pool by 10 HP. Your 4th increases HP by 20, your 6th form and your UI forms, your 8th and 9th, increase HP by 15, and ironically enough, your 7th form increases HP the most, by 25. Surprisingly, his 8th and 9th form do the same amount of damage, increasing damage output by 25%. For some unknown reason, the 8th form does 2.5 more damage on his Kamehameha, so technically speaking, the 8th form seems to be a lot more optimal. To sum up all this poorly done math that you just heard, base Goku's damage output scales exponentially. Each form change increases damage by 2%, then 3%, then 3.9%, then by 5.1%. However, Kaioken is kind of an outlier, increasing Blue's damage by only 2%, so this brings up the question, which form is the best? Besides the Ultra Instinct forms, the strongest contenders here are his 3rd, 4th, and 6th form, all for different reasons. His 3rd form provides Dragon Fist, a pretty nice move to have. His 4th form introduces a 3% instead of a 2% increase in damage, and still has Dragon Fist. Lastly, his 6th form provides a 5.1% boost in damage. While this may seem like it's up to preference, I found that the 3rd or 4th form is the way to go. The problem with Goku is that charging equates to eating up a combo, so you have to preserve your ki to make sure that when you go to make sure that you're able to go to UI without having to charge your ki up. Using the 6th form just for a small percentage increase in damage isn't really worth it, and and it comes down to whether you're playing aggressive or not. If you play aggressive, maybe go for the 4th form, as while it eats up a bit more ki, you'll get access to your UI forms faster. However, the best bet is probably the 3rd form. So, what's wrong with all the other forms? The 1st and 2nd form didn't do anything special. The fact that they don't use up much ki isn't really something that matters, especially when they only provide a small damage boost. While his 5th form introduces regen, I think 1 HP every 4 seconds is realistically not worth it for how much ki it eats up. Lastly, his 7th form is absolutely horrendous, taking up a ton of health for a sliver of a damage boost. When it comes to UI forms, it really doesn't seem to matter, as they both do the same amount of damage and seemingly take up the same amount of ki. So, to sum it all up, transformations usually don't really do much except increase your health pool and damage, and you should use either your 3rd or 4th form normally, and you can use Ultra Instinct or Mastered Ultra Instinct, because realistically it doesn't fucking matter. Now that we're done with the incredibly tedious math, let's talk about strategy. Ideally, you shouldn't be using your Kamehameha unless you know that it'll probably land. If your opponent is countering, you should probably use the move, unless they teleport behind you, like, for example, SDW. Use your R, F, G, and Y to chip down the opponent before you get low enough to use your UI forms. Once you hit the health range, use one of your UI forms and instantly blink near the opponent. This will probably catch them off guard. If you can, try to hit them from far away. That way you should be close enough to use your E as a follow-up. Try to make sure you're not just relying on your UI form, as realistically speaking, UI is fairly easy to deal with. Overall, I think Goku needs a serious rework, but is definitely in a viable state at the moment. There are a lot of ways that you can mess up strategically, but doing a bit of research will show you the way. I'd say that Goku is a 7 out of 10 in strength, 10 out of 10 in matchups, and 9 out of 10 in mobility. His kit is fairly strong, but his combo game is really weak. However, his kit really works against everyone, and his instant transmission is incredibly useful to Goku to chase opponents down. With all that being said, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, you maybe, like that video. If you want to subscribe, that'd be nice too. Just have a nice day.